Next up, what we're going to do is a Heisman draft, Dalton. I want to shout out The Athletic because this is actually something they do every year, and it's always a really fun article to look at, so make sure you guys check that out whenever they do it. But what we're going to do here, basically, Dalton, is going to do a 5-player draft for each of us, and snake draft, by the way, and we're going to draft at least one non-quarterback, at least one. You can take more if you want, but you can't just take 5 quarterbacks. It has to be at least maybe 4 quarterbacks and one non-quarterback in this. I have the first pick in this. My first overall pick in the Heisman draft, for who I think will ultimately win the Heisman Trophy this year, is Dillon Gabriel, the quarterback out of Oregon, the transfer quarterback coming in from Oklahoma. I just look at this offense, man. I think Oregon's a top 3 team in the country. I think they're going to be in the spotlight every single week, which is very key for the Heisman as well. And I think, man, you got the best receiving core in the country, a top 5 offensive line in the country, a really good play caller as well in Will Stein, and a really good run game as well that they're going to have at running back. That offense, I think, will be the best in the country, and I think Dillon Gabriel, as the quarterback of that offense and as the quarterback of one of the best teams in the country, think about it like last year, he kind of fits that Bo Nix role really well. And Bo Nix, Dawn, if he won that Pac-12 title game over Michael Penix Jr., he would have won the Heisman Trophy. He was the betting favorite entering conference championship weekend, and because he lost that game, Jaden Daniels was able to take over as the favorite. So really, Bo Nix is right there in terms of winning the Heisman. I think Dillon Gabriel ultimately will get it done and win the Heisman Trophy, the first since Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, it very well could come down to winning a conference title, but we're not sure they're the favorite. So with the second pick, I think I'm going to go here. We're going to stay at quarterback, and we're going to go with a team that we both believe is going to win their conference, and that's Carson Beck from Georgia. Look, he's got the cleanest profile of any passer in the country based off last year. Lightning quick decisions, doesn't turn the ball over, super smart, could be the first quarterback taken in next year's draft. And if Georgia goes undefeated, he's going to be a huge, huge reason for it. That's going to be just everything about it just feels like a Heisman Trophy winner, right? The wins, the production, the storyline, possible national champion. I think Carson Beck is next in line for that spot. Now we're snaking it, right? So I get a second pick now. Is that what we're doing?
Yep. Go ahead.
I knew Beck was the easy second choice. I think third here on my board.
Don't do it.
I'm going to go with another quarterback.
I forgot we're doing a snake, and I sent to Eli my next pick, and I'm praying you take him right here.
I'm taking another quarterback.
Oh, God.
And I know Eli needs a moment to type it in, so I'll leave you in suspense for just a
Please
second.
Don't take him. Please don't take him. I need him.
But I look, a lot of times with the Heisman, like Jaden Daniels last year, it comes down to dual threats.
You idiot,
Comes down to dual threats and the traditional numbers. And I'm going with Jalen Milroe. Look, if they find the receivers, he's going to put up the dual threat numbers. He's a perfect fit in Kalen DeBoer's offense. If he goes out there and throws for 3,500 and rushes for 1,000 or 1,100 yards like Jaden Daniels did, I think Milroe's got a real chance statistically to be that guy.
Okay, I don't hate the pick. I know I called you an idiot for that, but I don't hate it. He is in my top 5. But
you call me an idiot for lots of things.
I don't hate the pick at all. He's in my top 5, but actually I'm going to get my 3 and 4 right here. At number 3 is Ole Miss quarterback Jackson Dart. I have as one of them, and I'm sending the other one to Eli right now. But I think Jackson Dart, man, same thing as really Dillon Gabriel. Maybe one of the best offenses in the country, second best receiving core in the country. Lane Kiffin drawing up plays as well. I think Ole Miss is a top 5 team in the country, the biggest threat to Georgia in the SEC, and I think that Jackson Dart is going to put up huge numbers next year for that Ole Miss offense, and ultimately why he is my number 3 overall player on my big board, only behind Dillon Gabriel and Carson Beck. I just sent my next pick to Eli, so he's putting it in right now. But I'm going to go with another quarterback out of the SEC, Dawn, and that is Quinn Ewers from Texas. I'm going to go with here. I think he's going to put up huge numbers as well with Steve Sarkisian as his play caller. Obviously, great O-line protecting him. A brand new core of weapons he's throwing to as well. Has some big games on that schedule too. He's going to be under the spotlight. That Michigan game. They play Georgia as well. So I think Quinn Ewers is going to be on the spotlight a lot. And I think he is one of the top Heisman contenders right now, and on a top 5 team in the country in Texas as well. I think Quinn Ewers will be a Heisman contender for sure, so he will be my 3rd pick in my draft.
All right, so you got my number 4 player in Dart, and you went with Ewers, who I think I had a little bit lower than you did. So, man, this is weird. The way my board shakes out here,
So you need a non. So you're snaking it. So you need you could take a quarterback, but you need one of your picks to be a non-quarterback now.
Well, I could save that for last too.
Well, isn't it? This is your final two picks right here, right? You're back to back.
No, this is my third and fourth pick.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll have the very last pick, number 10, after you take.
You're right.
One or two more. So,
That's
you have two more, and then I'll have one. So, this is so weird. I didn't want to do it this way, but I'm gonna have to the way that I put this together. All right. So you're gonna think I'm crazy for this, but you know what? You made me go all in on it. I'm gonna have to do it. So first, we're gonna stick with the quarterback. And I'm going to get the non-quarterback that I wanted. But we'll go with the quarterback, and I'll give Eli a moment here. I'm going to go just full tilt, just full hype. We're just going to do it. We're going to go my third quarterback. I'm going with Shedeur Sanders.
Ooh, okay.
I'm doing it. I'm going for it. I love the weapons. If he's clean, look, Max, last year in a clean pocket, he was third in the country in overall grade behind Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams, right? Mm-hmm. When he's clean, he's terrific. He was great last year. Obviously, it slowed down because the offensive line slowed down and gave up too many sacks. If this offensive line is right, they've got a boatload of weapons. You've got Hunter. You've got Wester. You've got Shepard. If they can find a little balance in the running game, if they can be a little better in run defense to keep Shedeur on the field a little bit longer. But I'm going with it. I'm riding the Colorado hype train. If they fix this offensive line, he's going to put up huge numbers. And I really, to be honest, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want it to be this way, but I do get the non-quarterback that I want. And I honestly think maybe there's a running back argument, but I think the most likely non-quarterback to win the Heisman is Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
I just think if he plays all 12, or who knows if Colorado's season goes really well, 13 games. Look, last year if he played a full season, he would have had almost 1,100 yards and probably 5 interceptions, and he's one of the best corners in the country. And if you look at outside of the second half of that Stanford game that we've talked about a lot against Iowa, he was one of the best corners in the country. His coverage grade on that game alone dropped like 10 points. He's one of the best corners in the country. He's one of the best receivers in the country. We haven't had a player like this since Charles Woodson, and I think he's the best option as a non-quarterback to win the Heisman.
He is my number one non-quarterback on my list. I'm a little upset I didn't get him. I'm getting both Colorado guys is hot. I like that. That's pretty fun. So I have 2 picks left. I have to do a quarterback and a non-quarterback. Or I could do 2 non-quarterbacks if I wanted to, but I'm not going to here. I'm going to go with my quarterback will be Cam Ward from Miami. I think I'm all in on Miami this year. I think they're winning the ACC. I know it's kind of a risky pick considering how volatile he's been in his career, but man, I love that Miami team this year. That offense is loaded. Great O-line, great receiving core, and they got a really good running back in Damon Martinez too. I don't know how you feel about that Cam Ward pick, Dalton, but I'm going to go with him here because I'm all in on Miami this year, and I think he's going to lead them to the college football playoff. And man, it's kind of like the Texas thing, right, where Texas is finally back. Miami's kind of in that boat now. We're like, oh, are they back now? And if Cam Ward leads them to the college football playoff, I think there will be a lot of people saying he should be in New York for the Heisman ceremony.
I get it. I didn't have him on my board. I wasn't going to pick him up. I do appreciate you taking a swing because I think I'm taking a big swing with my last pick, and you have to take a non-QB here. I think I know where you're going with this, but no, I appreciate you taking a swing because look, if Miami if they're the best team in the ACC and they're making the playoff or top 4, whatever, he's going to have to be a huge reason for it, right?
Absolutely. So my last pick and my non-quarterback here will be Ollie Gordon, the running back out of Oklahoma State. I think Travis Hunter's the obvious one, but I like Ollie Gordon's chances too. This guy ran for 1,700 yards last year, and Dalton, in 3 of those games, the first 3 games he barely even played, right? So this guy could have had easily 2,000 plus yards last year if he played the whole season. He actually had 2,000 plus all scrimmage yards from receiving yards and rushing yards, and he's just an unbelievable running back, the best in the country. And usually if the Heisman Trophy isn't to a quarterback, usually it's a running back that wins it. And I think Ollie Gordon, numbers-wise, is going to put up huge numbers this year. And if he leads Oklahoma State to the Big 12 title game again, maybe even wins the Big 12 title, then yeah, absolutely. He's going to be a guy that could get to New York for the Heisman ceremony.
I agree with that. I mean, it's one of those things where if he's going to go out there and have a 2,000 or 2,200 yard rushing year, he's got to be at least in consideration, right? But I'm going to go back in with this last pick. I'll send it into Eli right now. Take one more quarterback. And, you took a swing with Cam Ward. This is, every year there's one guy who comes out of nowhere and gets himself into Heisman contention or even wins it, like Jaden Daniels last year. Nobody was picking Jaden Daniels to win a Heisman, right? I got a guy that we've been hyping up all off season. I'm going to take a swing on it. I think if I had a hot take, I think he's going to be in the top 5. Give me Garrett Green from West Virginia. Look, again, the dual threat thing, just like Milroe, led the nation in rushing touchdowns last year, had over a 90 grade overall. This is a dual threat playmaker in a really, really good offense. If he gets his accuracy in a more average range, let's say he's completing 60 to 62% of his passes, he's going to put up massive, massive numbers for the Mountaineers. So my big swing with this last pick is going to be Garrett Green from West Virginia.
Wow, I love it, man. I know a lot of people, some of our coworkers even, are out on Garrett Green, and we are driving that Garrett Green hype train right now, man. We are all on him as the top 10 quarterback in the country, and you just got to remember this guy is a big game hunter. And for the Heisman, man, maybe he plays Penn State week 1, like –
it might be the value thing too. There are backups right now. I looked on FanDuel the other day. There are backups from other schools that have much better odds than Garrett Green. Garrett Green, the last I saw, is 200 to 1 to win the Heisman. It might be the sneaky pick out of all of them.
That is crazy that he's that low, man. I don't see or any reason why he should be that low. Yeah, Garrett Green is 200 to 1 right now to win the Heisman. Dalton, before we go, who are some of the do you have any honorable mentions for this that you wanted to shout out that just missed out? I mean, there's a few guys. There's some guys high up on the odds that we didn't even draft in this that I think that some people might be surprised by. But anyone you want to shout out here?
The guy very high on the odds that sticks out to me is Nico Iamaleava from Tennessee. I think just statistically he could have just an absolutely massive year. That's the biggest one that when I was even picking between him and Shedeur, that was the other one in consideration for me. I think we got the top 5 really covered. I think to me, Hunter is clearly the best candidate for a Heisman just with everything that he does. Green was kind of my lower down one. That's a thought. I mean, you got guys who can put up numbers, man. I think, guys like people are going to talk about guys like Kyron Drones. And I'll be honest with you, Lincoln Riley's quarterbacks are always in it, aren't they, statistically? I mean, Miller Moss could go out there and have a huge season for USC and get himself in contention. I think he's going to be really good. He looks comfortable in that system. Miller Moss might be the other sleeper from me. Just Lincoln Riley's quarterbacks are always in a Heisman discussion. It's just how it works.
I'm with that. Yeah, Nico is my next quarterback. Will Howard is really high up in odds, too. We didn't draft him, the Ohio State quarterback. Riley Leonard I had on my big board as well. I think Riley Leonard on a Notre Dame team that could be really good this year. He could put up some good numbers if he improves. And Noah Fafita I had, too, as one of my guys. I thought you might draft Noah Fafita at some point, but Noah Fafita is one of my guys, too. And then non-quarterback I had Quinshon Judkins. I'm really scared about him not getting the touches necessary to be in Heisman contention. That's why I didn't draft him. Luther Burden III from Missouri is certainly going to be up there. Tetairoa McMillan from Arizona will be up there too as some non-quarterbacks. But yeah, man, it's a fun draft, and I'm excited to see who ultimately gets the Heisman winner at the end of the season on their team, and maybe even finalists too, who ends up being finalists for this Heisman ceremony. But let us know in the comments below what you thought about this draft. Who went too high? Who went too low? Who should have been drafted? Let us know in the comments below. That's what we got for our 2024 Heisman Trophy draft. Hey, thanks for watching the PFF College Football Show. Before I let you go, though, we have an unbelievable deal for you guys right now. If you use the code CFB25, you get 25% off your PFF Plus annual subscription. We've got the 2024 College Football Preview Guide that you can find over at PFF.com, featuring the best players in the country from all 70 Power 5 teams, plus 10 Group of 5 teams that have the best chance at making the college football playoff as well. You can also gain access to NCAA premium stats for historical games, teams, and player tracking dating all the way back to 2014, so the last decade or so of college football. All the stats you can hope for, you can find in PFF Premium as well. Also, you can be the GM of your favorite NFL team with our unbelievable mock draft simulator where you can draft up to 7 rounds of players for your NFL team. And if you want to dominate your fantasy league, you could do that as well using the best fantasy tools on the planet. All of that and more with your PFF Plus annual subscription, which you can find for 25% off right now with the code you can find in the description. Or if you want to go to subscribe.pff.com and use the code CFB25 at checkout. Again, you get 25% off your PFF Plus subscription. This won't last forever, so make sure you take advantage of it right now.